Welcome back, guys, to another video. As I start this video, first off, I'd just like to apologize. I didn't post yesterday. I was working on this video. I just wanted to make this video that I'm presenting to you today as good as it possibly could be, so I didn't want to jam out another video just to keep it going. But I'm gonna be more active on YouTube coming tomorrow. I got a fire video coming tomorrow. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the MMA GOATs, man. The finest the sport has to offer, man. MMA GOATs. We're going to be talking about the MMA GOATs. These are my top 15 all-time MMA GOATs. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, so here's what I'm looking at. Championship success is at the top. Quality of opposition, so you know who you're facing. Can't be no plumbers. Impact that you have on the sport. Your longevity shows how long you can go being dominant. Skill set, what you have to offer in the octagon. And lastly, dominance. That's the Khabib category, kind of just dominant, like how dominant you were. You didn't give your opponent a chance. That's just, these are just my 6 points I'm looking for. So that's my criteria and how I made my top 15. And yeah, so let's just get into it. Here's some honorable mentions. So we got Dominic Cruz is an honorable mention. He's one of the best in the sport. My opinion, the second best bantamweight of all time. Maybe the third, honestly. Aljo might be better. Honestly, I should have put Aljo here. I didn't think of it. I just thought of him now. Dricus du Plessis is not there yet. If he beats Hamzat, though, could be on there soon. Alessandro Pantoja, he's pushing. I mean, if I had such a debate if I would have taken out Stipe or Jose Aldo for Alessandro Pantoja, but then we also got Peter Yan. He's really great. Then there's Dustin Poirier. Obviously, he has a lot of great wins. One of the most legendary fighters ever. We don't like to say it, but Israel Adesanya kind of has to be an honorable mention, although his prime was so overrated. And then Conor McGregor. How do you think you would beat Ili Top Toro? I'd grab him by the scruff of the neck and I'd smack the little nose off him. Little ding-dong of a thing he's got on him, yeah? It's Conor McGregor. Just because he had such a big impact on the sport. So yeah, those are the honorable mentions. And yeah, that's just personally who I left out. And I wanted to put something, like I said, Pantoja and Dricus, they're almost there. All right, on to the actual list. Coming in at number 15, Stipe Miocic, or who's that guy, Stiopic. He's a bad mother. Stipe Miocic at 15. Obviously, 4 defenses, most ever in heavyweight history. He's got Daniel Cormier, he beat twice, Francis Ngannou, Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem, Werdrum, Arlovsky. I had to search the web to get some of these wins. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't watching MMA when Stipe was ruling. But Stipe, top 15 all time MMA GOAT. He's coming in just at 15. Obviously, like I said, you could honestly easily slide him out for Alessandro Pantoja, and that would be perfectly fine. But yeah, Stipe Miocic, top 15 all time, man. He was dominant at heavyweight. Obviously, his best wins, Daniel Cormier. He smoked Daniel Cormier, knocked him out the one time. He just lost to him once. Stipe Miocic, man, one of the best heavyweights ever, bro. And, it just sucks that they had John Jones is just so greedy and just wanted to bring him out at the end to get a free win, duck Tom Aspinall. And, we'll see later, my opinion on John Jones. I kind of had to do what I had to do, but, yeah. All right, Stipe coming in at 15, one of the best ever. Dominant heavyweight, great, well-rounded, whatever you want. All right, on to the next. Number 14, Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, number 14, 9 title defenses, 2 in the WEC. Mendez twice. Sorry, there's like stuff like popping in here right now. It's annoying. Okay. Chad Mendez twice. Uriah Faber, the Korean Zombie. Frankie Edgar twice. Oh my goodness, what's going on in here? I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's like Frankie Edgar twice. Rob Font and Marlon Cheeto Vera. I put Jose Aldo on here. Big impact on the sport. Obviously, 9 title defenses. That's crazy. He had that long winning streak before he eventually met his demise and got knocked out by Conor McGregor. But yeah, Jose Aldo, huge impact on the sport. Was one of the most dominant fighters in his prime. One of the best featherweights ever. And it's like, the one thing though is featherweight is just the division. If you're gonna be a champion in featherweight, you have to be fit, bro. Because I've never seen a division where the champions are so good, and you have to be such a high level to be champion in featherweight. I mean, just look at it. I mean, Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor, Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, Ilia Topuria, who is probably the best expression of mixed martial arts I've ever seen, and I'm sure a lot of you have ever seen. But yeah, Jose Aldo, number 14. Sorry, I went on a little yapping spiel right there, but yeah, Jose Aldo, 14, huge impact, 9 title defenses, a lot of great wins across his resume. All right, on to number 13, Anderson the Spider Silva. And I think a lot of people, or not a lot of people, because not a lot of people are watching, not gonna lie, but people won't agree with this. 13, people will be like, what? Anderson Silva needs to be way higher. But, some good things about Anderson Silva: 16-5 win streak, 10 title defenses, Chael Sonnen ×2. He also got a Rich Franklin win, a Forrest Griffin, and a Dan Henderson. Anderson Silva, one of the best strikers of all time. You hear it every day. Someone saying, Anderson Silva is my favorite fighter. I modeled my game after Anderson Silva. So for that, his impact on the sport was ginormous. One of the best and most dominant fighters in his prime, so he definitely fills the dominant category. And yeah, people love Anderson Silva, man. Like I said, I'm only 12. I didn't watch MMA when Anderson Silva was running the sport. But I have seen highlights. He's pretty good. Do I think he compares to anyone today? No, not at all. Not at all. But, sorry. And people are calling me, but you're biased to today, recency bias. No, it's just that the sport has grown. Don't you think people will always do this? They'll always pick the old fighters to beat the new fighters. But doesn't that just kind of seem like an insult to the sport? Because what you're saying is if you're picking all these old fighters, like they're way better than the fighters today, that kind of seems like an insult. You're basically saying that the sport hasn't evolved. It hasn't grown, from those years, to where we are now here in 2025. So it's just like, yeah, that's something that annoys me. It's like, yeah, Anderson Silva's great. He's on the GOAT list. He's number 13 in my opinion. But, there's people today who are better than him, it's just the skill level has increased. But, not taking anything away from Anderson Silva. One of the greats, for real. Everybody knows this guy. Yeah, and he's number 13 on my list. On to the next. This could get controversial. Number 12, in my opinion, one of my favorites. It's hard to say he's my favorite now because Ilia Topuria, he doesn't have the belt anymore. But him and Ilia Topuria, or Ilia, I don't know why I'm saying it like a super class. Ilia Topuria, they're right here. I love both of them. They both got me into the sport, and they're just awesome. But yeah, number 12, Alex Poatan Pereira. Obviously, he got 3 defenses, 2 belts in 2 different weight classes. Middleweight belt, light heavyweight belt. He's got the win over Izzy. Also has 2 wins over Izzy outside of the UFC. Also has the Yuri wins, both in the UFC. Jan Blachowicz, Sean Strickland, Khalil Roundtree. Those are probably his notable wins. He also got a win over Jamal Hill. But yeah, Alex Pereira, in my opinion, people say like, wow, how's he on your GOAT list, dude? Because he's like 9-2 or whatever in the UFC. But just look at this guy's freaking resume. I'm sorry, but this resume right here is better than having freaking 19 title defenses over freaking like plumbers like Ray Borg, bro. Like this resume alone is better than any Rich Franklin win. Like a Sean Strickland win is better than a Rich Franklin win. Khalil Roundtree level is on like par with a Rich Franklin win. So you just can't hate on Alex Pereira. Maybe he's not the champion, maybe he's not the most dominant guy, but when he was the light heavyweight champion, he was lighting him up, knock him down, bro. Like this guy, in his prime at light heavyweight, like UFC 300, 303, 307, dude. It's hard to argue that this guy got a lot of people, a lot of eyes to watch on the sport. So, you can't hate on this dude. Like, obviously there'll be the no Shama people, they'll hate him, But this dude was so entertaining, and he really made me love the UFC, It started at UFC, like 295 when he beat Yuri Prochazka, and then all the way to, his loss to Magomed Ankalaev. Like I said, this guy and Ilia Topuria are just like such an inspiration to me because they're just, they're some of the most entertaining world-class high-level guys. So Alex Pereira, putting him at the 12th spot. Fight me if you disagree. But yeah, Alex Pereira going at the 12th spot. On to the next. Number 11, Max Blessed Holloway. Some people might honestly disagree with this, but just take a look at his resume. 3 defenses when he was a champ at featherweight. He's the BMF belt holder. He's got wins over Jose Aldo twice, Justin Gaethje, Brian Ortega, Calvin Kattar, Frankie Edgar, Arnold Allen, Yair Rodriguez. This dude's one of the greatest fighters in the sport. Don't argue, one of the greatest featherweights of all time. Probably like the 3rd best featherweight ever. Max Holloway, absolute dog. Obviously he'll have that forever clipped of when he clipped Justin Gaethje at UFC 300. That is such a monumental moment in MMA. So, Max Holloway is going at my 11. Obviously, one of the greatest output fighters in the UFC. Just throws so many strikes, but he's really the one who developed the technique of not putting everything on your shots, but throwing more shots. So then he's the king of having damage pile up over time. So obviously that's a big impact, on the way people fight. Because some people you see nowadays who will copy the Max Holloway thing. They'll have pillow hands. they'll throw pillow hands. But then over time, the damage will build up and their opponent, they just can't take it, So, one of the most high output fighters in UFC history, Max Holloway, has some great wins on your resume, on his resume as I've displayed here. Max Holloway, absolute dog. And was the best featherweight until Alexander Volkanovski came around. All right, on to the next, number 10, Marty Fake Newsman. Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare, Usman. He's coming at my 10 spot. And I just think, a lot of people, they'll downplay Kamaru Usman nowadays. Well, honestly, not now because he just came back and dominated Joaquin Buckley. But a lot of people will downplay, because of the whole head kick thing because he lost and everything. But he was still very dominant in his prime. And like I said, 5 title defenses. Right here, he also got the win over Tyron Woodley, Colby Covington twice, Jorge Masvidal twice, Gilbert Burns, Joaquin Buckley, Rafael dos Anjos. This dude's a killer. And I'm trying not to overlook him because a lot of people overlook him nowadays. And I think Kamaru Usman, pound for pound at his prime, one of the best pound for pound fighters ever. It's Kamaru Usman. On to the next. Number 9, Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse. Displayed resume, 11 title defenses. Notable wins: Henry Cejudo, Joseph Benavidez, Adriano Moraes twice, Kyogi, Dodson twice. He's a dog. Demetrius Johnson, one of the best technical fighters of all time, and also dominant at flyweight. It just sucks. The flyweight division was very, very overlooked when he was a champion, which obviously resulted in the terrible trade of him being sent off in exchange for Ben Askren. But he just didn't pull in a lot of pay-per-views, But he did have a, you can say, he didn't have much of an impact on the sport because not a lot of people will know Demetrius Johnson. They'll know the Conor McGregors and everything, but then they won't know Demetrius Johnson, but you can say Demetrius Johnson is, technically way better fighter than Conor McGregor. It's just Conor McGregor will pull in the big pay-per-views numbers, so it's important to have a personality on the mic. But yeah, Demetrius Johnson, probably other than Pantoja, the most dominant flyweight of all time. He probably is the most dominant. Pantoja just behind, although Pantoja just dominated Kai Kara France at UFC 317. Virtually took no damage in that fight. So, but yeah, Demetrius Johnson, one of the greats. That's why I put him in my top 9 fighters of all time. The Mickey Mouse. I just was never a fan if you call yourself the Mickey Mouse. Yeah, Demetrius Johnson, he's coming in at 9. All right, on to the next. Number 8, unpopular. A lot of people say DJ should be over him, but I disagree because coming in at number 8 is Merab Dvalishvili. Merab Dvalishvili, probably just other than my goat, Ilia Topuria. My goat. Other than Ilia Topuria, probably the most built different fighter. Has the greatest cardio in UFC history by a long shot, a huge margin. Merab has the best cardio, like I said. Dominant. He'll just keep going. He'll fight you. Dominant takedowns. He'll pick you up, slam you. And he just showed in his last fight against Sean O'Malley at UFC 316. He can finish you now. It seems like this dude is improving in every fight. Not many people can say they tossed around not many people can say they tossed around a Nurmagomedov. But Merab can say that because Merab tossed around Umar Nurmagomedov for the unanimous decision win at UFC 311. But yeah, Merab, just so nasty. Just take a look at his resume. He's already got 2 title defenses, one over Sean O'Malley, one over Umar. Also, other than that, got 2 wins. He's also got 3 total title wins. He's also got Sean O'Malley. He beat him twice. He also has beat Peter Yan, Umar Nurmagomedov, like I said, Jose Aldo, and Henry Cejudo. Also Marlon Moraes on that record, if you want to count that. But yeah, just this dude's resume it speaks for itself. One of the greatest in UFC history. And that's why he's coming in at my number 8. And I'll say this about Merab. He'll just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. Because it seems like no one in this bantamweight division is even going to pose a threat to Merab anytime soon. So that is why he's coming in at my number 8. Let's get on to number 7, which is D.C. Daniel Cormier. First of all, his resume is pretty unreal, so we should probably get into that first. 3 light heavyweight defenses, 1 heavyweight defense, 2 belts, light heavyweight and heavyweight. He's beat Rumble Johnson twice, Alexander Gustafsson, Stipe Miocic, Dan Henderson, Anderson the Spider Silva. Just look at that. Anderson Silva, Stipe Miocic. Rumble, Gustafsson, Dan Henderson. That's crazy. That's a very good resume. And, a lot of people say, I personally am more harsh. I've said this earlier. I'm more harsh on the past than I am on the present. But for a past resume, like a resume during the time when MMA was still evolving, and it still is today, but what surely wasn't as good as it is today. That is a good resume. And, DC, dominant fighter, he proved fat boys can still fight, obviously. 2-division world champ, completely dominant fighter, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, probably the second or third best wrestler of all time, probably behind Islam Makhachev or Khabib Nurmagomedov. But DC Daniel Cormier, don't sleep on him. He's a top 7 fighter of all time, and that is why I have ranked him here. All right, on to number 6, approaching the top 5, but not quite. You didn't quite just make the cut, Khabib Nurmagomedov, because I'm putting Khabib Nurmagomedov at number 6. 3 title defenses. He's beat Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, RDA, Edson Barboza, probably the most dominant fighter of all time. Rarely, and I mean rarely, got himself into trouble. I mean, not many fighters you can look back on their career and literally just, find like one thing where they're in trouble, So, Khabib Nurmagomedov is insanely dominant. Hardly anyone ever even posed a threat to him in his prime. Retired too early, kind of had a padded record. So that's the downside. And a lot of people will have Khabib, honestly, in like the top 3 or top 5. I don't quite have him in my top 5 because the fighters above him are very justified, and I'll get into that. But Khabib Nurmagomedov, not taking anything away from him. He's the top 6 fighter of all time. I'm just putting him at number 6. Just outside the top 5. Insanely dominant, though. Okay? Insanely dominant. Obviously grew the already giant Dagestan MMA fan population, to the moon. Khabib's like the standard for Dagestan. So, Khabib Nurmagomedov coming in at number 6 on my GOAT list. Not quite there, but it's just a little bit because he retired early and kind of had a padded record. All right, get on to the top 5 next. I don't care what you say. Alexander Volkanovski is a top 5 fighter of all time. You can say, he got knocked out by Islam, got knocked out by Topuria. Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria are 2 of the greatest fighters of all time, and they're literally ahead of Alexander Volkanovski on this GOAT list. So get out of here with all that. Alexander Volkanovski is top 5 all time, okay? And he's number 5, okay? He's better than Khabib all time, and he's better than DC all time. I don't care. Fight me on that argument, bro. Like, get out of here. Look at this guy. 5 title defensive. Who can say they've beat Max Holloway not once, not twice, but 3 different times? I mean, he also got Jose Aldo, Korean Zombie, Chad Mendes, Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez. I mean, unreal record. The featherweight GOAT right here. You can say he got knocked out by Ilia Topuria. I mean, this dude has 1 loss in featherweight. Has fought way more times at featherweight than Ilia Topuria has, than most people have. Dominant fighter. Former rugby GOAT. Transitioned to MMA. Didn't throw big meaty hooks, but became a technical maestro. Alexander Volkanovski, top 5 of all time. Get out of here if you disagree. I will not take that. This guy in his prime is one of the most dominant fighters of all time. Australia's freaking GOAT, dude. Volk's the man, bro. Volk, and you say, Volk's chinny. Volk just came back and went tit for tat 5 rounds with, outside of Ilia Topuria and Gene Silva, the hardest hitter at 145 and Diego Lopez, a young, dangerous killer. Went 5 rounds with him, got the dub. Volk is still there, bro. Even at 37, whatever, how old he is. I don't care. Volk, he's the top 5 fighter of all time, in my opinion. And on to the next. Oh yeah, passing from one GOAT to another. That's right, because number 4 is my GOAT, my favorite, Ilia Topuria. Ilia Topuria is honestly the sickest fighter of all time. This dude is the most tough fighter ever. And honestly, you can just show a picture of this dude, and that's all there's needed to be said. I mean, this dude's unreal. Once you get that smirk, you know it's over for anyone. This dude even has his kid in the crowd shadow boxing and then pointing at him. What is this guy made of? I don't know what's in the water there in Georgia, because I already said, Merab Dvalishvili was the most built different fighter of all time. No, Ilia Topuria is extremely built different. This guy is honestly just the definition of a killer. I mean, not many people can mix in the power as well as you can mix in technique. This dude probably has the best boxing technique in UFC history, and probably has pound for pound probably some of the most power in UFC history. So Ilia Topuria, complete dog when he goes anywhere, has such great wrestling as well, and that's something that a lot of people don't talk about because he doesn't use it nowadays. But as you just saw in his last fight against Charles Oliveira at UFC 317, literally Charles tried to trip this man. He literally fell on top of him, mid-fall, past Charles Oliveira's guard, got into a crucifix position. People say a leg lock. What about the leg lock? It's what? That leg lock was never a threat. The leg locks are never a threat. When was the last time a leg lock was a threat? When freaking Ryan Hall submitted BJ Penn? Get out of here with that. Leg locks were never a thing. And guess what? They got up, and guess what happened? Charles Oliveira was freaking sleeping on the ground 1 minute later. Yeah, get out. This guy freaking sleeps everyone. And you can't say that these people, these legends that he's sleeping now are washed. How? Volk, proved that he wasn't washed like it just came back in a 5-round title fight, beat probably the hungriest dude in the division in Diego Lopez. Max Holloway is literally 33 years old. How is he washed? I know he's been going at MMA for the longest time. This dude is 33, had never been chinned by anyone, had never been even that hurt by anyone. And then Ilia Topuria goes in there, rocks him in the third, knocks him out. This dude is so built different. And you could say, well, Charles is so chinny. Charles this, Charles that. Charles was knocked out by Paul Felder back in the day. Get out of here. It doesn't matter. No one is sleeping Charles Oliveira, slumping him out cold. No one is doing that. You know who's doing that? One person and one person only. Ilia Topuria. I mean, I have too many compliments to say about this guy. This dude is so built different. The nastiest fighter of all time. Has I know a lot of people call this cringy nowadays, but has honestly so much aura. Literally, bro has the best kind of aura. When you hear his song, is freaking whatever it's called, Cancion Mariachi, whatever it's called. I don't know. But yeah, this dude has some unbeatable aura. I mean, if this dude was confident that he could beat Tom Aspinall, I wouldn't bet against him, okay? Because I'm just confident now that whatever this dude says is true, even that he's more African than Francis Ngannou. Okay, Ilia Topuria, he's number 4, probably my favorite fighter nowadays. Him and Alex Pereira, like I said, it's tough, but I just can't really, not say Ilia is my favorite fighter nowadays because his performances just get better and better. Okay, on to the next. Number 3, Islam Makhachev. I think this was coming. Islam Makhachev, 4 title defenses. He's pursuing another belt in Jack Della Madalena's welterweight strap. He's also got wins over Arman Sarukian, Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier. And I said Volk 1.5 times. I know he really beat Volk 2 times, but let's be honest, the second time wasn't really fair. Dan Hooker and Bobby Green round out his list. Islam Makhachev, very dominant fighter. You can say, well, he has looked beatable at times in the Arman, Dustin, and Volk fights, but they're still not beating this guy. So Islam Makhachev coming in at the 3 spot. He's going for another belt, and obviously we all want to see him fight Ilia Topuria. Obviously that's probably gonna be, if that fight happened, that's probably skill for skill the best fight in UFC history. Islam Makhachev, I think he's better than Khabib in terms of actual status and wins and everything. So that's why he's coming in at number 3. All right, top 2 now. Number 2, GSP, George St. Pierre. A lot of people have him as their GOAT nowadays because of the John Jones stuff. But, yeah, GSP, 9 title defenses, 2 belts, welterweight, middleweight, Matt Hughes twice, Michael Bisping, Nick Diaz, Matt Serra, BJ Penn twice, Jake Shields. Yeah, GSP, the greatest welterweight ever, no debate. Absolute dog. He revolutionized wrestling and MMA. One of the greatest wrestlers ever. Just super well-rounded, and he's one of the greats, man. And yeah, GSP. A lot of people have them as GOAT. Personally, I don't, even though as much as I hate the boy who's coming next, but I think we all saw it coming. So yeah, GSP number 2, and guys, coming in at number 1, Johnny Bones Jones. I'm sorry, I had to do it. No one else's resume compares to this guy. As much as I hate John Jones as the same as the next guy, okay? I hate him. I hate John Jones. He's a terrible person. He ducked Tom Aspinall for nearly 2 years. I mean, Shogun, obviously he's got the wins, Shogun, Gustafsson twice, DC twice, Gone, Rampage, Glover. But, John Jones, as much as I want to hate him, it's hard to deny that he's probably the greatest fighter ever, okay? I'm sorry. He just is. Just his resume is unmatched, undefeated record, unless you count the Matt Hamill as an actual loss, but not a lot of people do. But, yeah, John Jones coming in number 1, as much as we hate it, it kind of had to be done. So, yeah, guys, that's my GOAT list coming in. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever. Hit that notification. More videos are coming. There's a fun video idea coming either tomorrow or the day after. Probably tomorrow, though, because I haven't been posting that much lately. And, yeah, I will see you guys next time.